You want to talk about Uzi or Killer Mike next?
Uzi, because this will be quick.
Yeah. So Mr. Uzi Vertical himself. He is Just Wanna Rock his biggest record ever.
Oh, for sure, far and away. It's eclipsed EXO Tour Life for sure. I think EXO Tour Life is his definitive record. But I think this is his biggest record and will ultimately be another definitive record for him.
Yeah. It's definitely, yeah, I think you're right. EXO Tour Life might have more raw streams, but that's just been that's been collecting streams for a very long time. But I feel like Just Wanna Rock really came like a little moment, you know?
For sure, it definitely has.
And mistakenly, I thought we were going to get more records like that on Pink Tape, because I'm not a big Uzi fan. I don't really know what's like out there for leaks. I'm not in the community, so like I just swoop in, see what's going on with Uzi, and swoop back out. So I was like, oh, this is the lead single. I was thinking, I was like, here's the big name artist who's going to take this Jersey club sound and do more with it.
But remember, he was trying to catch that for a while, because remember Futsal Shuffle?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna make a hit out of this. Right. I got one somewhere. Right. And he finally did it.
Right.
But nope.
That's not what we get at all.
Nope.
There is a lot of rock on this album.
There is. I've heard about a System of a Down cover that people seem to be upset about.
Yep. It's track 17. It's called CS. The song is really called Chop Suey from 2001. It was a famous System of a Down fan. Famous System of a Down song back in the day. And he's literally just redoing the song over the same instrumental. It's terrible.
He does that again on Nakamura, which is a theme song of a wrestler, Shinsuke Nakamura. He just raps over the theme. And like even the melody that the crowd sings along with, he just does the exact same thing. Yeah. Like he adds nothing to it. I'm looking on Apple Music. He has Just Wanna Rock on here twice.
Oh yeah? Is one of them a video?
Maybe. Hold on.
Yeah, is it like the end?
It is. I'm tripping. My bad. Yep, it is. That's my fault.
Yeah.
But 26 tracks.
It's a lot of tracks. 87 minutes.
See? Like, you're not putting this on CD.
You couldn't. Yeah, but I think it's funny. The last 3 are technically bonus tracks. So I bet if you subtract those, you do. If you subtract those, you get just under 80. So you could do a CD, but who's buying an Uzi CD?
You could do a double disc like they did in the olden days.
Well, I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think you have to, if you get to 90 minutes, then it counts for Billboard as a double album. So it's almost just like, if you're going, this was the Drake problem on Scorpion, where like it was basically a double disc, but he just missed it by like a minute or two, and it's like, Drake, just let the beat play out.
Yeah, put an interlude,
right?
Yeba or somebody singing on it, and extend it out. You'll be fine.
Right. Call him Party. Give him an interlude.
Yeah, give him another interlude.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff on here that I think works.
I like the Travis Scott record.
Man, hold on. I'm playing. This beat is crazy.
I like the Travis Scott record.
If I was a youth, I would be in the general admission pit for this.
Oh, this is peak 1, 2, 3 jump.
Oh my God. Travis is on a lot of records lately. He's getting ready.
I'll say, I wonder why.
Yeah. A lot of white boys jumping up and down.
Just jumping. Not on beat either. They're just jumping.
Thrashing, I think is what.
Thrashing.
I like that beat a lot. I like Travis on it.
Hey, it's a question to the youths.
Oh, okay.
What are you guys going to do in another 15 years when your knees and your back start to go out?
They're going to do the head, kind of like the...
Right. Yeah, so I guess it's like the old metalheads, right? They don't mosh anymore, but they do a little bit of... But here's the other thing about headbanging. You get headaches easier.
Gonna hurt your neck, man.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I haven't, another record or another album that I haven't really like tapped in with. I was skimming through it. I didn't get done and get to come back to it. So I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I like Crush 'Em.
Okay.
So Don Cannon, which I always forget that Don Cannon
he's signed to Generation
Now. He's signed to Generation Now. So there's a lot of Don Cannon helping out on a lot, even especially some of these rock records, which is interesting. No, like Crush 'Em is Don Cannon and Wonder Girl and Q Beats.
I haven't heard Wonder Girl's name in a while. Okay.
Yeah, I like Crush 'Em. I kind of like I Gotta. That kind of works for me. The Nicki record, Endless Fashion. What is it with the youths trying to interpolate that I'm Blue record, which we all thought was kind of funny back in the late 90s?
Yeah, it was a troll.
Yeah, and now like this is like the second record in the last like 12 months that has done something with that.
What's gonna happen is, I mean, God, they just sampled Barbie Girl. We talking about Nicki and Ice Spice earlier. What's gonna happen is in another 10 years, the next generation, they're gonna sample like, what does the fox say? I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
Baby Shark.
Somebody's 100% flipping Baby Shark.
I just can't believe there hasn't been a Baby Shark trap record yet.
I'm sure there's one on TikTok.
Everything's on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one on TikTok. They sample everything on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me, like, it's funny. I think Just Wanna Rock actually really sticks out like a sore thumb on this project because this project is mostly split into, there's two types of tracks on here. There's like 1, 2, 3 jump trap records, and there's rock inspired. Somebody, definitely Uzi, very clearly heavily inspired by Rebirth era Lil Wayne.
Wow, an era that we completely thrashed and dismissed.
It was ahead of its time, in a way.
Okay, there we go. Clean that up.
In a way,
yes,
I mean,
you're right. You're right. Peak artists. This is because that was Rebirth was coming off. Was that after Carter? That was like right after Carter 3.
Carter 3, when basically, I'm sure any check he wanted cashed, he could get it cashed. So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna hang this guitar off my neck and act like I know what I'm doing." He had a guitar really in every video, like every video.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. And then Andre 3000 said, "Oh, we're playing guitar."
We're gonna talk about him in a bit.
You know, you've ruined 16 for me.
I'm glad.
Because of that. Well, not you, like the show. Because it's my fault just as much as it is yours.
That fills me with glee. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
That record's not very good.
It is good. 16 is dope.
But yeah, so, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of content from Uzi. Seems like he's already announced another project too. Like, he seems like the kind of artist who he goes through like real dry spells, and then all of a sudden he's putting out, because I think last time he put out a project, he put out like 2 projects in the span of like, is that my thing about that right?
It was, so Love is Rage 2 came out in 2017. Then it was Eternal Take in 2020. And I feel like there was something else around that time.
In
too.
2020, he put out Eternal Take. He put out Little Uzi versus the World 2. And he did the collab record with Future. Like
oh, that's right.
He put out a lot of music in 2020.
Yeah.
So,
Eternal Take is probably the album that I like the most from him. But that seems like the most commercial. Seems like the most like not, and I'm not a Uzi fan, so if we got a Uzi fan in our community, please let me know what that is, because that's not me. But I do like that album the most. Neon Guts and You Better Move.
Of course, you like Neon Guts.
On there. Well, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Of course, I like it because it's good. You Better Move is crazy. Like, yeah, there's some joints on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did you have any expectations going into this Uzi project?
I'm not paying attention to Lil Uzi. That is not my bag. And I don't say that in negative context. I'm just not. I just, you know, when you get older and your time, you know, just changes. Like, you pay attention to what you pay attention to. You know, for the most part, whatever I need to really tap in with that's for the youths, my son or my daughter they'll send it to me, or my nephew. They'll tell me.
So
other than that,
apparently, according to Don Cannon from earlier this year, Uzi had recorded 680 songs over the course of 18 months for the Pink Tape.
But again, that's easy to do when your content and the beats are very similar. You can just, I got money, I get girls. Let's do this. Let's go rage. That's easy. And then just like, wail and shriek a couple times. Yeah, 600 songs.
You sound old.
Very.
You want to talk about an old rapper? Get more in our lane.
Yo, you just shot me in the face. You said, wow, you're old.
I'm old too.
Hey, listen, man. It is what it is. Anyway, finish your transition, please.
No, I was going to say, we could talk about, an older rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Your man. Killer Mike.
My man. Killer Michael. Mm-hmm.
Killer Mike's older than you think.
How old is he?
48.
That's about where I thought he was.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah, like late 40s. Okay. About where I thought he was.
Well, because he didn't really come out that... first you hear of him is early 2000s, so...
Early 2000s, yeah. Were you... Let's just get this out the way.
Go ahead.
Were you ever a Killer Mike fan?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I really tried to like Monster, but I did like I liked the action. I mean, because I really like that era of Outkast, right? So he was on Snapping and Trapping.
Mm-hmm.
He was on some other he had records. I liked him.
Okay.
He was on Never Scared. Like he was around. I never really tapped in the same way that other people did with his work with LP. LP's just not my guy. I was not a company flow guy. That didn't really work for me.
I was gonna say we talk about we've reviewed Run the Jewels on this show. Not a fan. That's my doc impression. Not a fan. Yeah, I've never been a big Killer Mike fan.
Sure.
And I was always trying to figure out why that was. Because it seems like he was like able to check a lot of boxes, but just something wasn't connecting for me. And I think on this album in particular, what doesn't connect for me finally stands out.
Okay.
Couldn't figure out what it was. So there's a couple songs. So there's a song on I think he did it was a mixtape, a Gangsta Grills or something where he rhymes over Cupid. It's called Dope Story. I like that song. God in the Building with that sample is crazy. Oh,
hold on. I haven't heard that in a minute. Hold on.
God in the Building is crazy.
Now I need to pull that up. I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind too. Boy, what a 2000s.
Listen. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. I haven't heard this in a long time.
Listen, hey, Doc, listen, if you feeling froggy, bro, there's space on Armand and Doc 2. There is. And you laughing. I'm dead serious.
Go find the sample.
I got the sample. I know what it is.
That's right in the feels right there, this beat. Man, I forgot about that beat. Wow.
Go find that sample.
Wow.
Please.
Wow.
Go. Please. Please, Doc. Please. That's easy. Anyway, so this is actually, and I'm just looking on his wiki, Michael is his first solo album in 11 years.
Yeah, since the first time he worked with LP back in 2012, before they became Run the Jewels. Because
rap music.
Yeah, rap music is produced all by LP.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And so here we are. Now he's linked up with No ID, who's executive producing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, I don't know, I think it's a pretty personal album. Would you say that? For sure.
Feels very introspect. Feels very much like a mix of commentary and introspection. For sure.
He's got are we going track by track on this or just talking about it?
You can go track by track. I don't have track by track notes. I don't.
Let's go track.
Sorry, y'all. I often drift.
So the only thing I want to say, so it's executive produced by No ID, who does, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, who's got 5 beats on here. A lot of other producers, 5 or 6 beats on here. A lot of other producers on here as well. But also playing on a lot of these tracks are Warren Campbell.
Okay.
And a guy named Damian Farmer III, who's another gospel musician. So, you know, even though like a record might be produced by Cool and Dre or, you know, Honorable C-Note, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think actually there's this consistent instrumentation that is happening here.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we open with Down by Law, which is featuring your man, CeeLo Green.
Yep.
Listen, it's a classic sample. Jump ahead a little bit. I mean, come on, that Curtis Mayfield sample. This is produced by Corey Mo.
Corey Mo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bringing it back. Got CeeLo singing his heart out in the background. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, that beat's pretty good. I think I like CeeLo more than you do, so I like CeeLo singing on this.
So, sometimes CeeLo Green mails it in. So when I think of peak CeeLo Green, I think of Tears of Joy. Right? See, Body's Tears of Joy. But I feel like, you know, around that, and I'm just talking about CeeLo Green on other people's songs. I'm not talking about his own discography. But after that, like, I feel like he just kind of, a lot of it doesn't connect with me. This is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's a really good opening track too, because even though it's not produced by No ID, they're introducing the sound of this 100%. Project, right? Which I think is kind of important. If you're trying to put together a body work and you have a concept for this album, like you want to get people. You can just, if you press play, listen to Down by Law, you're like, I kind of know what I'm in for on this project, good or bad. I'm glad you said that, because this has what Uzi and Thug's albums don't have, and that's bottom and like depth. So, you know, Thug and Uzi, and I'm not expecting that from them, right? So they're going to give you the vibes, right? Sure. This is not a vibey album. This is a feel album for sure. Yeah. But vibes and feels are not the same.
They're not the same.
Vibes and feels could definitely not be that's not a song title for you. That would be a terrible song.
That's not for us, no. But the feel of this album is very much like they knew, listen, man, we're not going after the youths.
Right.
Killer Mike's audience are the people who listen to him speak, who will hear this. And this is actually what I love. And this is how I have to go into making music now. People's introduction to Killer Mike is not going to be through a song going viral. It's going to be through a clip of him going viral speaking.
Right.
So who's this Killer Mike guy? He makes music. I heard he was a rapper because on the panel they announced him as a hip hop artist, right? So he's a hip hop artist. Let me go listen, whatever. And then this is like, if you want to know who Killer Mike is, if you want to know what he stands for, if you want to get the Killer Mike experience, because he's from rap music to now, I feel like he is completely 180'd into this other space. And Run the Jewels is like festival music, and that's cool and that works, right? But I feel like that's not really Killer Mike.
No, this is an album like this. He's coming for. I'll tell you. I mean, he's coming for a Grammy nomination with it. This is the kind of album a veteran makes when you want that. You call up No ID. You do the thing. You get the guests. You know, you do the whole thing, right?
It's a great point. Yep. It's a great point. Yeah. So it's a mix of, you know, soul and gospel, right. And, you know, it's an older black man sitting on a porch. He's either sipping lemonade or he's sipping beer out of a can, out of a bag, Models or something. Schiltz malt liquor. Colt 45, it is what it is.
Did you have anybody in your family who drank malt liquor?
100%. Most of the men in my family drank malt liquor.
I had 3 sets of grandparents because my dad's parents got divorced and remarried just before I was born. So growing up, I always had 3 sets of grandparents. And my dad's stepdad, Grandpa George, I called him. He worked every day at a mushroom farm where like
Okay.
literally, I mean, you know what they use for fertilizer for mushrooms? They use poop, right? They use
Okay. It's actual fertilizer.
right?
Yeah.
Actual fertilizer. So he's shoveling that. He's working all day.
Okay.
So he would come every day. He would come home, and my grandparents are only like 40 years older than I am. So when I'm visiting them as a teenager, he's only in his mid 50s. He's still working.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my grandmother wanted nothing more than for him to immediately go into a shower.
For sure, of course.
What did he insist on? He would grab these two giant cans of whatever, I forget what his favorite malt liquor was.
Tall cans.
Cans. And he would sit out on his back deck while my grandmother is fussing and yelling at him to go get clean. And he's just like, no, I'm going to sit here. I just shoveled manure all day.
I need a minute. You're going to at least let me drink this beer.
Right.
And then I'll, yeah. I want dinner and I'll take a shower. I got you.
Anyway. So Down by Law, I like that record. It's a good record.
Yep.
Shed Tears with is it Mozzie?
Mozzie.
Yeah,
I like Mozzie. Mozzie's dope.
I like Mozzie. This is produced by No ID. I think this is good. I think this record's good.
Mozzie's one of those like I connect with the streets rappers.
Okay.
Like I'm still actively involved in gang activity, but like I'm actually talented. So some of my friends try to push me away from it, and then some of them still kind of keep me around. But he actually has like some substance, and he's able to articulate his experience in a way. So this introduces Mike to a younger audience without getting out of the Killer Mike wheelhouse. This makes sense.
Man, if you look at the list of his album titles, it's a real roller coaster, right?
Who, Mozzie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gangland Landlord, Beyond Bulletproof, Occupational Hazard, Untreated Trauma, Survivor's Guilt.
Yep.
You can just look at the list and be like,
yep,
this man is on a path right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
That's wild. All right, so speaking of Young Thug and Dave Chappelle, of all people.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
No, I'm not surprised. It's called Run, also produced by No ID. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. I like that beat a lot. I think Killer Mike's fine on it. I think Thug works on it as a different kind of voice. I like that song. You're like, yeah, it's fine.
It's the song that made me realize my issue with Killer Mike.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Killer Mike has always positioned himself as a top tier lyricist, and I don't think he raps that well. Or he's not. I don't say he doesn't rap well, because then you get into what do you mean by rap well, right? So of course all the intangibles are there. He can rap. He has a good rap voice. He has cadence and flow and all that stuff. But like, as when I talk about like pen and lyricism and what you're saying and how you're saying it, it doesn't really connect for me.
It's interesting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the last thing I'll say.
No, go ahead.
This is why this album works so well, because I don't like the LP production. His, not lack of lyricism, but me not being a fan of him is like Front Street. It's clear because, okay, I don't like the beats and I don't like the raps. Versus the production on here has so much depth and so much soul and so much feel, and you're able to tell a story and everything that goes on with this album. He is now an instrument, right? Whereas before he's on Front Street, it's Killer Mike the rapper, rap, where it's like all this other stuff goes on. It's all a melting pot to make this experience of an album. And I think that's why people are loving this album the way that they are.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, so you tell me if you think this is right. I think like so you talk about his voice, which I'm sure some people think is a little silly, but like it really matters.
Rap voices are, I mean, it's the difference between Guru and Magoo, right?
It's mostly the voice, right?
It's mostly the voice.
You talked about like he can rap technically.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about, and another thing that he has is content, right? He is talking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's not, and maybe this is the wrong word, but you know, this is our podcast. We can explore this. This is a safe space.
It's our space.
He's not clever.
Yes.
Maybe there's a better word than clever, but like he's not hiding. He's not like writing bars that make you go, oh.
That's right.
He's very straightforward. Technically capable, flow capable, voice is there, content, but like he's not saying anything that makes you like think back and he connected that from earlier, or look at this rhyme scheme, or like that's not him. He's a bit more down the middle.
For sure. And maybe that's it. And maybe I could stand to like take notes from that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying I don't like it, just respect the fact that he is more direct and not you don't have to be clever in order to be a great rapper.
Sometimes you can be too clever.
Absolutely. To me, somebody like a Lupe, like too layered for your own good.
I sometimes I don't know, like I think that people do. I think there's some rap fans, they just love punchlines, right? They want to hear that little like whatever, but like sure.
That's one of those guys, yeah.
Like I think sometimes J. Cole is on that line between too clever for his own good and that's a good line, right?
Where he's like chasing the clever.
Krispy Kreme dreams. Sometimes my dogs want to kill 12. Right, like that's one of those where I heard that and I was like,
"Hey, listen." Man.
I saw somebody who was, I saw somebody online. They were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Okay, relax. That's not a line you go." You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Heating up like leftover lasagna. There's just like, come on, like you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Right. But yeah, I feel you. Yeah, sometimes you can chase the clever, and you just need to say it. You know, it's like telling a girl that you like her. You're just like, you're doing all this stuff and you're talking around it. And she's like, just tell me that you're interested in me. Like sometimes it just works like, I like you and I want to get to know you better. And like, that's what works.
Honestly, to echo the conversation we had in my hotel room where I was showing your son how to chop samples, tension and release.
That was actually an excellent. I loved when you shared that with him. I didn't even think of that. It was great. If
you've got like really intricate wordplay, if you've got some really like complicated thing you're pulling off, sometimes you just need to release the tension out of that verse and then bring it back around again. Right? Or conversely, like if you're doing Beanie Siegel circa 1999 and you've got the same rhyme scheme and like you're just driving this force going boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you gotta switch it up. And then back to it, right? Like the tension and release. All right,
that's interesting. These new Spotify analytics, we talked about them like deleting data, but like now they've got the way that they lay it out is actually dope, like really dope. So now they tell you like who listens to your music, but it's like how are they listening to it? Who saves your stuff? Who adds it to a playlist? What percentage of your followers engage your new release within the first month? Like this is really good. This is really good. Yep. Yep. Let me see if I can add you to this, but okay, keep going.
Track 4, Enrich featuring Black and Aaron Allen Kane, produced by Cool and Dre. Good for Cool and Dre.
Good for Cool and Dre.
The song is fine.
I didn't even realize that was Cool and Dre. But
your man DJ Paul shows up.
Yeah.
For track 5, talking that ish. We'll keep it PG here. You know what I like about how this song fits in the project is we just had a whole lot of soul and gospel. And then he's like, we need, especially considering the song that's about to come up, we need to cut that. We need to like switch it up, keep people on their toes. Otherwise it can sound a little bit, too much the same record. It's a short record. It's under 3 minutes. you know, very identifiably a DJ Paul kind of sound. I don't think that Killer Mike does like amazing stuff with it, but it's good energy, and I appreciate the record.
Yeah, it's a good switch because we're talking about the South.
Yeah.
So as much as the South is the blues and gospel and all those things we talked about before, it is also this, and it is very much 3 6 Mafia.
It's funny, you were just talking about like, you know, yes, the South is soul and it's gospel. What I thought you were going to say, because that's what I think of when I think of 3 6 Mafia and that era of Memphis rap. The South is also horror.
1,000,000%. Absolutely.
Right.
Voodoo and all that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
This next record's Slumber with Jagged Edge. Shout out to Jagged Edge. Again, produced by Cool and Dre. Cool and Dre was holding on to some stuff for this project, because I sent this record to you and I was like, get out of here. What's interesting is Killer Mike does so much more with his flow on that record than on the DJ Paul record. Like the DJ Paul record, he's almost just kind of like almost a little monotone, like kind of sinking into it. But you can actually notably hear him punch in on those opening bars because he wanted to get that flow perfect. I love this record, man. This gospel sample is outrageous.
The sample's crazy.
Shout out to Jagged Edge. Sure, bring him in. Why not?
Yeah, what are they doing? They're around.
They're around, you know.
Yeah,
you know what? They're waiting for their you know, their airline tickets so they can go show up at JD versus Puff versus. They will 100%. They'll be in the building.
They'll absolutely be in the building.
They will be in the building. No, I think Slumber's a great record. And there's a whole like separate ending too, where like it's a switch up. I like the ending as well. I think this record just works.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think this and the next track are really the center of the project. To me.
Yeah.
Because this next track, this is the record. This might be a first. I found out about this song because I got advertised about it on Reddit on the day it came out. Reddit.
Okay.
So Reddit thought I might want to hear a record with Killer Mike and Andre 3000. They were correct.
Oh, yeah.
So, Scientists and Engineers, Future, Andre, produced by Andre, DJ Paul, James Blake, and No ID. All that being said, how do you feel about this record?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
It sounds almost like a Kanye record. And what I mean by that is it's so very obviously multiple songs that then they are trying to make sound kind of consistent, right? Because like the Andre part sounds very different than like the ending. Like it seems like there are these different like chunks, and I give them credit, all these producers on there. There's a reason there's a lot of producers on there, because like they needed to like, how do we make this sound consistent? And in a weird way, Future kind of is the bridge between all of that. I love the idea is Future just being like a hook, like doing a hook, not in a typical Future style, you know?
Yeah, I like that too. Yes.
Yeah, it's so different. You know, I think like Andre's gonna rap how Andre raps at this point. He has a sound now, you know? It happens.
Yep. Agreed.
It's good though. I think it's good.
Okay.
Let's see. After this, we get 2 Days with Ty Dolla $ign. It's fine. I'm good with it. Unless you got something you want to say about that record.
Nope.
I like Spaceship Views, Currency, 2 Chainz, produced by Honorable C-Note of all people. I actually think it sounds good. It's good energy to have Currency and 2 Chainz on a project like this.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't remember, but I feel like I like that song.
Yeah, I'll play it real quick.
Yeah, this is hard.
Yeah, right? A very different kind of Honorable C-Note beat too. Like the drums are very obviously
the drums.
But yeah, again, good energy in the middle of this to switch it up. We got a record with Blast, Exit 9, which I don't really like the beat to. But we need to talk about your man, Fabo. Fabo!
That's funny.
Where has he been?
Performing.
This is called Something for Junkies, produced by Don Cannon and No ID. I like this record a lot. This song is great. I'm going to jump ahead because I love Fabo's part. Man, he was so ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was.
Listening to him right there, and I'm like, you hear it all. Everything that everybody's doing right now is right there. He was 10 years too early? 5 years too early?
And I think that's why so many artists, I think that's why he's able to kind of flourish now. You know what I'm saying? Because now people have kind of caught up. It's like Electric Circus in reverse.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that record a lot, and I love that he kind of almost put him in like the CeeLo Green spot where it's like, here's what you're gonna do, you're gonna sing your heart out, and then you're gonna get the feature at the end, and he comes in and kills it. I love that.
And kills it. Yep.
Next up is Motherless, produced by No ID, which is fine, but honestly kind of sounds like some of the other records on here, right? It's soulful, we get it.
Yeah.
LP shows up, a song called Don't Let the Devil. I heard the sample and I got mad because I've tried to sample this a million times. I never got it right. It's a very Doc sample.
It's definitely
like 10 years ago, Doc. But
yeah,
it's a lot going on with that sample chop.
It is.
Which is why, again, that tension and release, right? They build it and then they had to like, okay, we got to switch it up because that's too much.
Yeah.
And then we finish off with High and Holy featuring Ty Dolla $ign, which is fine. I think this album kind of slows to a crawl a little bit. Like, it's only 14 tracks. Could have been 12. Could have been 10.
Yeah, for sure.
But as is, this might be one of my favorite albums of the year so far, which isn't maybe saying a ton.
It's not saying a ton.
But you can only, hey.
Still you still need a favorite album of the year.
Right,
so
right.
It's not
I like this a lot. I think it's by far, I like it because I'm not that big on LP all the time. So to me, this is the best consistent production that he's had, period.
I agree. I would agree with that. And I love what you said about this being the Grammy attempt.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes what artists need, and I know this, especially like lyricists, is they need somebody to come in and like tell them what to do.
Sure.
Because we'll just write 80 bar verses and we'll be happy with that.
Right.
So No ID, I think, did an excellent job of telling Mike what to do. And Mike did a good job of listening to him and, putting things together as best he could. So I think this album works for the most part. I'm not super crazy about all of it, but what is there works.
Yeah,
sure.
And there are, a variety. He's talking his politics on here. He's talking his beliefs on here. He's not shying away from it. He talks about abortion. He talks about all kinds of topics on here. And I don't.
Are you playing something, or was that another?
That was
thunder.
I'm in the middle of a ridiculous thunderstorm here right
now. That's crazy.
I'm just sitting here hoping we can get this conversation over before everything cuts out.
All right. Well, let's speed up then.
No. Yeah. I got some bass going in the background though.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Doc. Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
And so I kind of thought that what he's talking about in this album might get a little bit more attention as a part of this album, and even to the point where he's got Dave Chappelle talking a little bit on this project. Like he can bring controversy wherever he goes now, but I haven't really seen a lot about that. It's been mostly people responding to, people are like, I like the production.
Yeah. I like the album. Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
I would agree.
Yeah. So, hey man, shout out to Killer Mike.
Shout out to Killer Mike.
Yeah. For sure.
That's where
shout out to these producers too, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say about this project, man? Let me ask you this. I mean, so you said that this project has helped you hone in on why you think like maybe some of his rapping style doesn't always resonate with you 100%. Did this album make you like, does this sort of like maybe raise your expectations for future Killer Mike stuff? Or does it make you think like, okay, I see what he's capable of when he's got like someone like No ID working alongside him? Or
yes.
Okay.
Somebody who knows him and understands him and can point him in the right direction, can create something really good with him. And I think that's what this does. So yeah. I think that was the biggest takeaway. Like I can feel how I feel about him, but then also I can also understand that artist to artist. And then as a, podcast co-host, just recognize the art that was created out of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. Shout out to Killer Mike.
Excellent. Anything else you want? We never talked about that top 50 groups list.
Oh yeah. All right, let's do that very quickly.
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull this up because I haven't looked at this list at all. This should be fun.
Okay.
Oh, is there somebody who just lists out? Oh, see, I'm already mad. I got to number 48 before I got upset.
All right, where?
Hold on. Let me see if I can I find did somebody put this whole list together?
I had one. Maybe it might be on the college.
Believe it or not, Genius has it. Hold up. Somebody on the Genius forums. So you can see the whole list together.
Oh, that's interesting. You just sent me something and then like it just popped up over your face.
Oh, interesting.
In Skype. Okay, here we go. Yep. All right. Okay, I see why you got why you're mad at. Yeah. 48, 47, and 46.
Girls? You're telling me City Girls over MOP?
Ray Shremmerd and Ying Yang Twins. That's nuts.
I would give you Ray Shremmerd has had hits.
50 greatest groups ever though.
I hear you. All right, so we could get lost. Yeah. All right, so do you want to start at the top and see?
Because I feel like sometimes in those spaces, like when you get into like the 40s and like late 30s, they're just kind of throwing names on the wall. What's most important is probably the top 20.
Maybe, yeah. There's some interesting selections here. Okay, so number 1 is Outkast.
I'm not
number
mad
2
at that.
is Wu-Tang Clan.
I'm not mad at that either.
I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Right, because like as a like crew, Wu-Tang's discography is ridiculous. I think I don't think they're counting in this like we're giving them credit for Cuban Links and we're giving them credit for Supreme Clientele. Like I don't think they're doing that. Okay, maybe they are a little bit.
Maybe they are. Yeah.
NWA at number 3.
I'm not mad at that either.
Tribe at 4.
I'm not mad at that.
I might put Tribe over NWA.
No. Not at all. You got a group with Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E?
Yeah.
No, it's top three.
Except I think, see, here we go. I'm going to make you mad. To me, what Cube and Dre do after they leave NWA are far more influential than what they did in NWA.
Influential? No.
Long lasting? Yeah.
No. Nobody was rapping aggressively and like, parental advisory stickers and presenting them.
They were
like,
the first.
They were early.
They were early. First doesn't mean best.
For sure.
Okay.
But I don't think that works in this context.
Okay. I hear you. Try, man. All right. Anyway. All right. Run DMC at 5.
I'm not mad at that either.
They're a tough group to rank.
I'm not mad at that either. My OGs tell me that the way, and I was there for kind of like the end of Run DMC, but the way that generation looks at Run DMC is basically how we look at like Rockefeller.
No, I understand that. It becomes like the longer hip hop's around, the longer it becomes more like sports, where like when I was growing up, it was all Joe Montana was like the best, Dan Marino. But people, you'd always hear sports writers be like, let me tell you about Johnny Unitas.
Right.
And it's like, what, the old guy from the 50s?
Right. The game was different.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, increasingly, groups like Run DMC start to seem like this deep in, getting closer to Johnny Unitas status than you might think. But
I agree.
I get it. Public Enemy at 6.
I'm not mad at that.
I understand it. Eric B. and Rakim at 7 is a choice.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. That's the first one where I'm like, nah, not at 7. Maybe 10. Maybe top 15 or top 13, but not 7.
Salt and Pepper at 8 is also a choice.
You need women in that space. Okay. I think they accomplished something. Now, granted, Salt and Pepper, incredibly influential.
Sure.
Joints, records, absolutely. First female hip hop group to win a Grammy. Like accolades up the wazoo. But I think that choice has very little to do with Salt and Pepper and more to do with an overall, like, we got a lot of guys in here. Where are the women at?
De La Soul at 9.
Keep it real.
Uh-huh.
As much as I love De La and as much as the flowers that we gave them,
yeah,
I think I would put the Roots over them.
Yeah, because the Roots are at number 10.
I actually would have the Roots at 7 after Public Enemy.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, what does greatest mean? We're really trying to define, the Roots. Certainly they put out far more material. They have legendary live shows. They became, the studio band on a late night talk show.
I think legacy factors a lot into that. Just the fact that they've been able to do it at a high level for 30, almost 40 years since 1993. It's crazy.
Migos at 11.
I'm not mad at that, to keep it real with you. I'm not. You got to have some representation of the newer groups. And when you think of new groups in the last 15 years, got to go with the Migos.
Okay. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 at 12.
No.
Yeah, that's you see my face. I don't know about that.
No.
Mobb Deep at 13.
This is very interesting. If we're talking my favorite groups,
it's low.
I have them that. Yeah, absolutely. It's low for favorites. But when I'm looking at all this, I don't know, man.
Well, what feels high is the Fugees at 14.
100%.
They had one good album.
That album's not even that good.
It's real. It's it is a very 1996 4 mic album, in the truest sense of the word.
I see exactly what you're saying with that. Yes.
Now, if you're including what Wyclef did and what Lauren did as a part of that, I get why you're saying 14. But as a group.
But then that goes back to what you said about Wu-Tang. If they're doing that for the Fugees, then are they doing that for Wu?
I think they must be, right? Because Wu-Tang really, they put out what? I guess they technically put out like 6 albums, but they only put out...
I only count 4.
See, there you go. You stop at Iron Flag?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got
Naughty
at 15.
I'm not mad at Naughty at 15, mate.
They're underrated. I think they're very underrated, but are they 15?
Well,
that's high.
Let me say this. Eric B. and Rakim at 7 and Beastie Boys at 16. If we're choosing mid to late 80s iconic groups, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I would have the Beastie Boys much lower, but I digress. I digress.
Not for you.
The same. I think the same way that Salt and Pepper represent the women, the Beastie Boys represent white guys, white people in the space.
I don't see D12 here.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Purple Hills. American Psycho.
Cypress Hill at 17.
That's very high.
A little high.
It's very high.
3-6 at 18.
That's low.
Maybe a little low. I would put them up higher, like 14,
Absolutely.
13 in that range.
13. Yeah, I'd put them up there with Migos, Grandmaster Flash, and Mobb Deep for sure. Yes.
G-Unit at 19 feels high. As a group.
Yeah, it's weird. Like on one hand, I feel like it's a little low, but they're in and out very quickly.
If we're talking just groups, I'm jumping ahead here, but the fact that G-Unit is 19 and Dipset is 24 is insane.
But they got the Locks. Let's keep going.
Okay, right. Because so 21 is 20 is UGK. And I think if you're listening to this, you either think that is way too low
or way too high.
Or maybe a smidge high.
Yeah.
Which is why it's here.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Bone at 21 is hard to rank. Their highs are higher than their highs are so high that they could be in the top 10.
I agree. I really think that they sit in the top 15 to 20 at the. They could knock out UGK. They can knock out Cypress Hill and the Beastie Boys. Yeah, they can knock out G-Unit. They can knock out Naughty by Nature. Ooh, they're up there with the Fugees at least.
Oh, well, I think the Fugees could probably drop. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like in that spot, like 14, 13. Yeah. I think Bone's a little low.
All right. How do we feel about the Locks at 22?
It's weird. The Locks is very weird because when you really just talk about them as a group, they don't really have much. But they represent an era.
They do.
They are a prototype. They are Rushmore. And I think that now, especially with the verses, they got their flowers in such a way that it kind of feels like they might be too low.
Sugar Hill Gang at 23.
High.
I don't know where
I'll get out.
It's one of those things where it's like much in the same way as Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, where it's like the iconic nature of what they did, understandable, but it's tough.
They have one song.
I know.
And really, when you hear about the history of Sugar Hill Gang and you know like Rapper's Delight and what that means, they shouldn't be that high.
24 Dipset, that's too low. I'm sorry. You got Fugees at 14. You got Cypress Hill at 17. You got G-Unit at 19. And you're sitting here putting Dipset at 24. Get out of here.
They might be a little high.
No.
And I love, we love Dipset. They might be a little high. Hot Boys at 25 is a little high.
Okay.
And I love the Hot Boys to no end. It's a little high.
If we're talking representing hip hop's what used to, because we talked about this in the De La Soul episode, what used to be considered hip hop's golden era, that 88 to 93 ish.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about representing artists who came out of that golden era. EPMD might be a little low. I don't think the younger generation has any appreciation for EPMD.
I would agree with that 100%. They need all types of flowers that they do not get. I agree.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince feels awfully high at 27. Because this is an interesting case where because it's titled that, we're not including what Will Smith did from 97 and on. This feels awfully high. But I know you're like,
well, I'm thinking honestly, I'm thinking many people have DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince as their entry into hip hop. Many people were introduced to hip hop through the Fresh Prince, and that was synonymous. That show, the early seasons of that show are synonymous with summertime.
Yeah.
So, or parents just don't understand, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They're like, it's a little high.
Can I make you mad?
No, but go ahead.
Okay. How many records do DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince really have?
Off the top of my head, like 8.
They have Parents Just Don't Understand.
1.
They've got Summertime.
2.
Aside from people listening to this show, I don't know how many folks can name anything beyond that.
Oh, come on, man. Brand New Funk.
No, but
Nightmare on My Street. I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson.
Maybe that one.
Boom, Shake the Room.
If that's one of your, that's a song. No.
There's other ones. There is. But yeah, it's a little high.
Okay.
If we're just talking music, I think influence wise, you can make case.
Well, we got a strong stretch coming up here, so this is interesting, right?
All three of these groups should be higher.
Ghetto Boys at 28.
That's too low.
Gangstar at 29.
Too low.
Clips at 30.
Too low.
The Fugees have one good album. The Clips have at least two. Just that alone.
And Gangstar has
Gangstar, right. Boogie Down Productions at 31. Boy.
It's a little low.
If you've got Eric B. and Rakim at 7 and BDP at 31, I don't know, man.
It's a little low. And y'all know I don't like KRS-One at all, but that's low. I like BDP. I'm not crazy about KRS. BDP is actually fire.
2 Live Crew at 32.
That's a little low.
Goody Mob at 33.
That's very high.
That feels okay.
That's very high.
I like Goody Mob, though.
Shit, good for you.
Brand Nubian at 34.
That's high.
Feels high. Farside at 35. That's high.
That's high.
Hieroglyphics at 36. Over 8 Ball and MJG is unbelievable.
That's crazy, but I think they've done a really good job. They represent what they represent. I think is significant. The longevity, the underground rapid. Like I get it. Actually, I'm not mad at 36. I'm not mad at 36, and I don't know if I'm mad at them being over 8 Ball and MJG.
They're but higher than Little Brother. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Big time. 8 Ball and MJG 37 feels a little low.
That's a little low.
Big Timers at 38. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Slum Village at 39. Boy, that feels high.
I thought you were going to say low.
No, that feels high.
Listen, I'm not the biggest Slum Village fan, so there's that.
Onyx at 40.
That's, I'm not mad at that. They could be a little lower.
I'm sitting here looking at Cypress Hill at 17 and Onyx at 40, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
I mean, they should all be lower. Go down together.
Little Brother 41.
You know me, I'm going to say that's too low, but I get it.
Heavy D and the Boys at 42.
That's a little low.
Little low. Kid and Play at 43.
That's very low.
That's very low.
That's very low.
You want to talk about representing that early 90s, that late 80s, early 90s. Crisscross at 4. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Kid and Play, when we talk about like death row and gangster rap coming in and like really ruining a lot of people, Kid and Play were impacted by that very much so. Because Kid and Play's up there with Fresh Prince. Like they got cartoons, they got cereal, they got movies. Like Kid and Play were out of here.
Yeah.
89, 90, 91. And The Chronic comes out and that's done.
Well, so let me ask you this. Like, how much of it was the image of hip hop changing, you think, and how much is the sound of hip hop changing?
Both.
Yeah.
I think the image changed with the sound. I mean, because The Chronic didn't sound like anything else.
No, but also, and then the sound on the East Coast also changed too, right? It kind of goes in multiple directions there. But like,
okay, so then this is
I feel like they're kind of like New Jack Swing-ish, adjacent-ish, that same era. Maybe not exactly New Jack Swing.
For sure. I think the timing of it, because you could say that the East Coast hip hop, the sound changed because of The Chronic. Like Puff would tell you that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to look at other groups like, so, you know, Crisscross is 91. You know, Protect Your Neck what's Protect Your Neck? 92?
92 into 93. I mean, yeah, I think like on the one level, like there's a couple things that really change, right? I mean, obviously Wu-Tang changes East Coast hip hop. I think Tribe
for sure. I was thinking Tribe too.
Tribe.
Yep.
Even maybe more so than De La Soul. Like as we talked about on the De La Retro, they had an iconic sound and then they ran away from it as fast as humanly possible for a lot of reasons.
Whereas
hip hop wasn't ready for it. They felt like they almost have trauma from it. Right?
Yeah,
Whereas Tribe was embraced and they were able to build and build and build.
That's right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I think it was just a matter of timing. All of it just worked out, and I think Kid and Play suffered. But with that, they're very low on this list.
Crisscross at 44.
You know me, I'm gonna say that's too low, but I get why they're there.
Honestly, like there are some batches of groups here where I'm like, I don't know, I could move some of the. I feel like if you told me Crisscross was 30, I would be like, okay. You told me they're 44, I'm like, Yeah, okay. I mean, I kind of like it's tough.
Again, barrier of entry for many people.
Sure. Oh, for me, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think for me, like because when's Jump come out? 91?
92.
92.
Yeah.
So I'm 9 years old.
That's right.
I'll tell you. You know who my real entry to hip hop was? MC Hammer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Hammer was my entry.
Listen, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him was an entry because it went diamond.
Yeah, of course.
For many people, it was that, and keep it real, it was Vanilla Ice to the extreme.
Because those two were, they
were 1A and 1B. Yep. And for many people, it was Crisscross is the first group that I tried to dress like. So like when I stopped wearing like costumes because I wanted to be like a Ninja Turtle or a Ghostbuster or whatever, like, and I wanted to be cool, I dressed like Crisscross. So for me, that's low.
My school in 90, was it 2? Yeah. In 1992, my school did a dress backwards day because of Crisscross.
I performed Warm It Up at my 3rd grade talent show. There is video footage. None of you will see it. Maybe on the Inevitable Armand Wake Up like booking documentary, yeah, but just on a random post, absolutely not.
All right. P-Rock and Seal Smooth at 45.
On one hand, that feels low. On the other hand, I kind of get it.
Yin Yang Twins at 46.
Yeah, too high.
You think so?
Yes. They should not be on the greatest 50 groups ever. No, they shouldn't be on the list.
Ray Shremmett at 47.
Shouldn't even be on the list.
City Girls at 48.
Shouldn't even be on the list.
Black Star at 49.
They should be a little higher, but like in the 40s.
If we're just looking at what they accomplished as a group together, I need someone to explain to me how big of a gap there is between the Fugees and Black Star.
No, because the Fugees accomplished way more than Black Star did.
As a group?
As a group. The Black Star does not have a Ready or Not. They don't have a Killing Me Softly.
Okay, commercially.
They don't.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair.
I think that's what makes the difference.
Okay, that's
But Black
fair.
Star makes better music than the Fugees, absolutely. There's not
I don't know.
There's not a Fugees member that raps better than Mos Def.
No, but would I take the best records on the score over the best records from the first Black Star album?
No. No.
Do they have a song as good as Ready or Not?
Yes.
Like, really?
Yes.
Ready or Not is incredible.
So is Respiration.
It is. It is. I don't know, man. The degree of difficulty, when they were clicking on all cylinders, the degree of difficulty that they accomplished were that, like, Lauren is rapping.
For sure.
And then she's switching it up with an incredible hook.
Most is a better artist than Lauryn Hill. And I will die on that hill. I will jump on that sword. Most is a better artist than Lauryn Hill. Don't be fooled by the miseducation. And I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to our audience. Who came and talked to me
at the kickback about that? They were saying something to me about Lauryn Hill. Like, oh, you know what? It was Taylor. He was talking about it. And he was like, I know y'all don't like it. Like, apparently we have this rep.
Yeah, I've been telling you that for years we have a rep. Yes. We definitely have a rep.
So Black Star at 49, MOP at 50.
Way too low.
Feels low to me.
MOP is wild low. That's not cool.
Who are there any obvious people you think are missing?
I don't know.
Anybody newer?
No, because there ain't really a whole lot of groups out. Groups kind of die.
You're not going to put like ASAP Mob in here? Brockhampton?
Yeah, so I did see some people say Odd Future should be on the list, but I don't think Odd Future was a group. They were a collective. A
crew. What we used to call a crew, right?
They were a crew. Yeah, I don't know if they really like omitted anybody. I saw some people say that, Houdini should have been on there, or I think I think the top 10, I'm not super mad at like the top 6, and then after that it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a middle chunk where it's like it's really hard. I mean, I don't envy them putting this together. It's just hard.
But they do this all the time, so that
of course, this is why they got it.
This is why they got it.
Because we were like, yeah, we're almost done, and we just spent 20 minutes talking about this.
All right, let's wrap up then.
Armand, you got anything you want to plug?
Nah, man, just sign up for the mailing list, Patreon. You know, CRS users get a discount. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Wake Up Tonight, live streaming. That's it, man. Just thank you guys. Really, really appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
When do we get you like an actual like sort of studio show called Wake Up Tonight? You know what I'm saying?
That's the goal.
Get you behind the desk.
That's the goal.
I'll play the Ed McMahon. That's fine. That's a reference that nobody under the age of 35 understands, but that's okay.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I'm rolling this out. But yeah, that's the goal. Yeah. I want to move this to like a studio and I want to do all that stuff. Yes.
Get an audience. They got to laugh at your jokes.
They got the little laugh. They'll have the little laugh thing at the top, the little light. Yep. Absolutely.
That's right.
I'm getting there. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who's a Patreon sticking with us. I'm glad we had some music to talk about. We definitely will be back in the near future. But until then, let us know what you think about this top 50 list. Was there anybody who we can debate placement, but I'm more interested. Like, is there any obvious groups where people were like, "Oh, I can't believe they didn't make it"?
Yeah,
you know
for sure. Yes.
You know, is somebody out here going, "Where's Jedi Mind Tricks"?
Right. Anacon should be on this list.
Where's Company Flow?
Teenagers. Yeah.
You know,
Company Flow. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Where's Sons of Man? Where's Killer Army?
Right. Jesus.
Would I put Killer Army over City Girls? No, I'm just kidding. That's the most.
Don't disrespect JT and. Hey, shout out to Killer Sin though. Killer Sin, super nice.
That is the most CRS way humanly possible to end this episode. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.